Now, today I'm going to start a new section. It's one of the very important areas in international trade, very important areas. And definitely you are going to get a question if you see the past papers of DIT. Every year you get a question on this particular topic. So because of that, today's session is going to be of paramount importance to you all because you have to get a clear understanding of what we are going to discuss. The topic is Incoterms, and the best part is this is Incoterm 2020. Incoterms 2020. Because we all know, I think as the trade guys, um, Incoterms every 10 years we used to change the Incoterms. We used to revise the Incoterms. And this time, earlier it was Incoterms 2010, and now what we are using in our banks is Incoterms 2020. Right? Uh, so, whatever we are going to discuss today is very important. And if you have any issues, please stop me and ask me the questions because it is very important that you should not have any gray areas in your mind, right? Since we have certain changes also in the Incoterms, right? Before we start, I just want to give you a small background about the Incoterms 2020. Uh, it was implemented by most of the banks in Sri Lanka as well as the entire world on 1st January 2020, right? And earlier we had under 2010, how many Incoterms we had? How many Incoterms we had? Hmm? Trade guys, tell me. If you are not talking, then I'm also not going to talk. How many Incoterms we had?
11.
2010. Huh?
11.
11. Under 2020? Any guess? We have already started in the banks. Now 6 months have gone. How many Incoterms under 2020?
11.
Again, 11. So what's the changes we are talking about? So earlier we had 11, now we are having 11. But there are few changes which we are going to discuss. Not much, not much. So if you know about 2010, Incoterm 2010, it's very easy for you to catch up with Incoterms 2020, the new changes, right? Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Last time we didn't talk about transferable LCs and back-to-back LCs.
Is it?
We stopped from revolving LCs.
I thought transfer analysis we have done. When right, let's say then. Then give me 1 minute. I'll have to get this thing organized. Hello, everybody. Is it correct that we have stopped at revolving LCs?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now the new system is terrible. Even when we sign the books, also we don't write. But yeah, we have stopped all those things. We just sign. Okay. Then I'll continue with the types of credit, transferable LCs. Right. Now the transferable LCs, unlike revolving LCs, which is not a common one, but transferable LCs is very common in operations, right? Because a transferable credit is very popular among traders who are not manufacturers. They are just the middlemen. They are not manufacturers, they are middlemen. But they have the contacts. They have the contacts, and what they do is they get some other third party to do the manufacturing part, and then they keep their cut and collect their fees. Fees in the sense their share, right? So it's a very common thing. Now, for example, uh, if I open about 10 LCs, at least one LC is a transferable LC, right? But for revolving LCs, I told you, even if I have opened about over 100,000 LCs, not even 15 to 10, 20 LCs, revolving LCs, we have opened, right? So it's not commonly used, but this is a very common one. A transferable letter of credit is an irrevocable LC designated as transferable. It has to mention transferable. And this particular LC is governed by UCP 600 article. Which article? UCP 600 article. I think by now you people, I'm sure everybody have gone through the UCP at least 2 times, huh? 1 to 30.
Article
Article
38.
38. How many articles in UCP 600? How many articles? 39.
39.
Right? This is the article number 38. Do you have a UCP article for revolving LCs? Do you have an article for revolving LCs? No. There's no article. It's under normal UCP 600. When we open the revolving LCs, we open the LCs under subject to UCP 600, but excluding article. Last week we did. What's the article we are excluding when we open revolving LCs? Article 32. Article 32. Excluding Article 32. Now this one is entire transferable LCs is governed by UCP 600 Article 38. There's a special article for this. And when a transferable credit is an irrevocable DC, designated as transferable. You have to designate as transferable. Otherwise, we will not take it as a transferable credit. Can you all open your UCP 600 and then we'll go one by one the articles, our sub-articles under Article 38. It says, Article 38B, transferable credit means a credit that specifically states it is transferable. A transferable credit may be made available in whole or in part to another beneficiary, the second beneficiary, at the request of the beneficiary, that is first beneficiary. Right? So it is important that it has to be mentioned, specifically mentioned, transferable. This DC is one that can be transferred by the original beneficiary, the first beneficiary or transferor, to another party, that is second beneficiary or transferee. Right? Now, when we are going to discuss about transferable LCs, I will you can see the board. We have a transferable LC. Transferable LC. Right? This transferable LC will be transferred to the first beneficiary. Transferred to first beneficiary, and the first beneficiary can transfer it to the second beneficiary or many second beneficiaries. Many second beneficiaries. Either they can transfer to the first one is to the first beneficiary. First beneficiary can transfer it to either one or many. Okay. Now, for example, if the LC is for US dollars 100,000, right? The first beneficiary will get it as US dollars 100,000. Then he will transfer it to one second beneficiary, US dollars 30,000. Another one will get US dollars 20,000. Another supplier will get US dollars 50,000. Okay. like that. But obviously, when we are transferring, we reduce this portion. Otherwise, you won't get the profit. When we are transferring, we transfer 80,000. 80,000 we give to A. This is A. We'll give US dollars 30,000. B will get US dollars 20,000. C will get US dollars 30,000. Total into 80,000. Right? This is how it gets transferred. Okay. If the transferable DC allows for partial shipments, such a DC may be receiving its own portion of the transaction. The second beneficiary is not allowed to transfer to another or third beneficiary. Now, once the first beneficiary can transfer to one or many second beneficiaries, but the second beneficiaries are not allowed to transfer it to a third beneficiary. Right. Now we'll see the process of transfer LCs. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you You can see the board, huh? Hello? Can you see the board?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
මොකද ඔයගලගේ වචන එන්න ටිකක් ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේට් වෙන්න ටිකක් වෙලා යන්නේ. Can't hear me properly. What's wrong with that? Any issues? ඔයගලගේ apparatus එක කොහමද? You are using the computer or the phone? You are using the phone or computer? Even I can't hear you. I can't hear. I didn't get an answer to that. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Yeah, okay. Then, because the other girl, she didn't answer me. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss the process of transferring LCs, and I'm going to draw it here. Only thing is, while I'm doing this, with me, you better start copying it in your papers or whatever, books or whatever, because after I finish, it is very difficult for you to understand, because it will be like a cobweb everywhere, right? So with me, please start drawing your own process, right? Now we'll see. First we take the importer. We have importer, and then we have first beneficiary. First beneficiary, and then second beneficiary. First beneficiary and second beneficiary. Under importer, we have LC issuing bank. Then under first beneficiary, the first advising bank. First advising bank. Then comes the second advising bank. Second advising bank. Importer and the first issuing bank. First beneficiary, their bank is first advising bank. Second beneficiary and their bank is second advising bank. So the importer will come to his bank and request the issuing bank to open a transferable LC. Right? Request transferable LC, DC. That is number one, step number one. Step number one. Then based on the request, the issuing bank will open the LC and advise to the first advising bank. Number two, LC issued. LC issued and advised to the first advising bank. Shall I put some figures also to this one? Request transfer DC or US dollars 100,000. Now this one we open the LC for US dollars 100,000. Right? Clear? Then the first advising bank, what they will do is when they receive the LC to be transferred to a second beneficiary, still we don't know how we are going to do it. But when they receive the transferable LC, they have to advise the first beneficiary. Number three. Advise. This particular LC is what's the amount? LC US dollars, how much? What these people have? Huh?
100,000.
100,000 US dollars, 100,000. Then the first beneficiary will give the instructions to his bank. Okay, please go ahead, and this is a transferable LC. I'll give you the instructions to transfer this LC to a second beneficiary. A second beneficiary. So they give the number 4 instructions. Transfer. Instructions to transfer the DC. Right? Then once they receive the instructions, they said, okay, transfer the DC worth of US dollars 80,000. We are not transferring the full amount, but the number of items, the number of units is same. If it is 100,000 units, still we are asking for 100,000 units. But the unit price will reduce. Why? Since we reduce the unit price, the AC value will get reduced accordingly. So instructions to transfer AC, same number of units at a lower price, he is going to buy it from the second second beneficiary. So they are transferring US dollars 8,000. That one we will transfer US dollars 80,000. Number 5. Right? Number 5. Then the second advising bank will see the LC and they will advise to the second beneficiary. Advise US dollars. How much? 100,000 or 80,000?
80,000.
Huh?
80,000.
80,000. Advise US dollars 80,000. So based on the LC conditions and the amount and all, but still, if you are looking for 10,000 number of units, still we are asking for 10,000 number of units. Only thing is we have reduced the unit price. Then they will ship the goods to the importer. They will ship the goods to the importer directly. Right? After that, they will give the documents. They will give the documents to the second advising bank. But second advising bank will not negotiate the document because it is very important. When the first advising bank advised LC to the second advising bank, they put a clause to say, upon receipt of funds from the issuing bank, upon receipt of funds, that condition is there. Upon receipt of funds, we will pay you. Right? So because of that, we don't negotiate the documents. We just check and the compliant document, we send it to the first advising bank. Docs worth of US dollars 80,000. Right? Then, when this guy receives the documents, the first advising bank, they will inform the first beneficiary, look, we have received certain documents and they are transferable LC. You are free to come to the bank and do the necessary changes. Right? Okay. Now, what is the amount of the documents we receive from second advising bank?
80,000.
80,000.
80,000. We also 80,000. Right? Now, what is the first beneficiary do? He will get the commercial invoice and bill of exchange. and bill of exchange, and then change the bill of exchange to 100,000 from 8,000. He will replace a new bill of exchange and commercial invoice also. He will change it accordingly to read as US dollars 100,000. Okay. Then that means the difference between the original LC and the transferred LC is the profit of the first beneficiary or the middleman. Right? So they will replace the documents with two documents. That is, they will replace the bill of exchange. Instead of 8,000, they will make it to 100,000. Ikala damma 8,000 එක ඉරලා විසකලා ඩස්බින් එකට අලුතෙන් එක දානවා. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි commercial invoice එක. Earlier the commercial invoice is for $80,000. Now the commercial invoice is for 100,000. I can reckon 80,000 and 100,000. Right? And then we will submit the documents, and before that, they will pay the higher Abraham. Then we give the document. Once they pay, we'll give the documents to the importer. The importer will go to the customs and get it cleared. And this particular money, we will inform the first advising bank. US dollars 100,000. US dollars 100,000. Right? Number 13. Then this US dollars 100,000. Then we will ask the first beneficiary, or normally we don't have to ask, because we have an obligation. The first advising bank, they have an obligation to pay the second advising bank. How much they have to pay? How much they have to pay?
80,000.
80,000. So they have to pay 80,000. They have to pay 8,000. Right? When we pay 8,000, these guys will be getting US dollars 20,000 summa money. Nothing. They have not done anything. Only they have replaced the documents, but they have got US dollars 20,000. Not bad. It's a good business, huh? Right. So once they received 8,000, they will pay 80,000 to the second beneficiary. Is it clear? People who have started drawing the thing with me now will be laughing. Lazy killer. Then pull on in the band. Iyo, මොකක්ද මට ඔක අරියෙන් කරගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන කට්ටිය. දැන් පුළුවන් නේද ගන්න? Can you see the board?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the board? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Now this is the cycle of transferable LC. Cycle of transferable LC. Right. Now you see certain things. Okay. Certain practical things. If this guy, okay, before that, what are the things we can change? What are things we can change? Can we change anything or everything what we want? Can you do it under Article 38? NTB, Sampath, Commercial, where's your mouth? So when we receive the documents from the second advising bank, by this time this guy is missing, the first beneficiary. Then what we are going to do? If the first beneficiary is missing, can what? Then again, if the first beneficiary is missing, to replace the documents. In a scenario like that, what is the course of action? What is the course of action? Tell me. Ni lamai. Ekene UCP 600 එක බලලා නැහැ. I thought you people have gone through the UCP 600 once and it's the second time you are going through. How you are going to answer the questions? මේක වගේ නම් ලේසි නෑ. මම බලනවා ඔක්කොම ටික. Right. If you are not interested, what can I do? So if this guy is not there to replace it, then what is the course of action you can take?
First advising bank can present the document as they receive.
Yes, article එක දාන්න මතකද? sub article එක. Article 38
I.
I or H දාන්න මතක නැහැ. Yeah, I. Right? Is there. Now regarding this process, do you have any issues? Do you have any issues? And according to Article 38, Article 38 is a very good handout for your transferable LCs. You don't want any other handouts. Read the Article 38. Everything is there. Right? Now, what are the things you can change? You can't change everything what you are receiving from the issuing bank. But there are only few things you can change. And how many things? Only 5. Only 5 items you can change. That is also explained in Article 38G. Article 38G. See what are the things you can change. Article 38G. The amount of the credit. Obviously, you have to reduce it. Any unit price stated therein. Definitely, unit price has to bring down. Then the expiry date. Expiry date එක අපි change කළේ නැත්නම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙයා බලන් ඉන්නවා last day වෙනකම් මේක කරන්න. ඒක කරාට පස්සේ by the time this guy receives the documents, that is beyond his control. Already expired. So we normally the expiry date we reduce by 15 days. Then the period for presentation. Period for presentation. That also we have to curtail. Right? Otherwise, you won't be able to meet the deadlines. Then the later shipment date. That also you have to reduce it. Curtail. If the later shipment date is 31st July 2020, when you are transferring, you will say date of shipment, 15 July, 15 July, keeping another 2 weeks provision for us to act. Right? That's how you have to do it. Okay. Now we'll see what are the advantages. Advantages: provide the traders, suppliers with security for payment. Because this one, the second beneficiary will get this order as an LC received from the first advising man. Right? So he is more comfortable. Then convenient solution for the trader, as it shows, as it allows him to provide suppliers with the security of a DC without using his own banking facilities. Now, for the second guy, as well as the first advising guy, when they are issuing the DC, normally we'll have to have a security. But here, we are doing it without any responsibility on our part. We just advise it. Right? Then, convenient solution for the traders, as it allows him to provide suppliers with the security of DC without using his own banking facilities. Then the risk and cost, the extra risk and cost for the original grade applicant by risk of receiving goods from an unknown third party. Now this guy is importer is having a few issues because he is getting the goods from an unknown party, second beneficiary. He knows very well first beneficiary, but not the second beneficiary. Right? Then more people are involved, and documents have to be examined and mailed twice before they reach the issuing bank. Because a lot of people are involved. He will say, not done. Right? Then more people getting involved means more errors. The probability of having errors is more, increasing risk of loss and errors. Always, right? We are having these things. Then we also increase the risk of fraud. So those are the advantages and risk and cost of transferable LCs. Right? Ensure that the transfer is in accordance with ICC 600, Article 38, paying particular attention to the following changes requested by the first beneficiary. He can change, the first beneficiary can change only these items. Amount of the credit may be reduced. It has to be reduced. Otherwise, you can't get the profit. Then the unit price may be reduced. Maybe reduce the unit price. Not maybe, it has to be. Then the expiry date may be shortened. Shipment date may be shortened. Presentation date may be shortened. Quantity of goods may be reduced if partial shipments are allowed. And insurance is another thing. Now the insurance, when we are taking the insurance, normally the insurance is from the invoice value. What's the percentage of the insurance document? What's the percentage of the insurance document?
110%.
110?
10%.
110. So if we transfer the LC to 80,000, then what is the 110 of 80,000? What is it? 110% of 80,000. Come on, la. Why is this? Are you sleeping? After a heavy meal?
88,000.
88,000. Now, if you, this you can't change. What do you call this? Insurance policy, the certificate you can't change, right? So the insurance policy you are going to get with the document number 9 is 88,000. But whereas the original LC concerns, it is less than even the original one. Original LC is for 100,000. So 110% of the value is 110,000. Whereas your insurance is only 88. Hello? Get a go there. Can you mute your phones? And can you mute your phones and then when you're answering, unmute it and answer. So in this particular one, what should be the remedy? When you are transferring, you have to put a clause here. Now, this is not the APF, this DIT. So you are the guys who are getting involved. So you have to add the new clauses, new conditions. Picture the insurance again. Yeah, that's the original one. Roughly, how much? Is 110% enough?
No.
Is 110% enough?
No.
No. Then you have to ask for at least 135%, 140%. Right? So that poor guy, the second beneficiary, has to pay that high premium also. Okay. Now we'll see what are the key elements of the Article 38. I have given this to you. Can you take 5 minutes to read the Article 38 and then we'll discuss some more issues. Right? Can all of you start reading Article 38? How they gather evaluated करना. Can you read, please, quickly? Or else I can move to the other one. If you are reading, it's a homework. I don't know. Can that guy mute your phone, please? Can you mute your phone, please? Right. So, Article 38A, effects of designating credit transferable, it's a must. Then the second one, it's transferring bank charges. Right? Then 38D, prohibition of subsequent transfers. You can transfer to the second beneficiary, from there not to any third beneficiaries. In Article 38E, excluding notice of amendments to second beneficiary. 38G, waiving credit terms on transfer, permitted alterations. 38H, substitution of invoices and drafts. And 38J, place of payment or negotiation. Right? All those things you please read. Now we'll see the last one is back-to-back credits. Back-to-back credits. Back-to-back credits. Can I explain to you like this one? Same way. See? Right. Now back-to-back also operates somewhat similar to transferable, but it is not exactly similar to transferable, somewhat similar. There also you get the importer, then the first beneficiary and the second beneficiary. Right? Here you get ATM bank, first ATM bank, second advising bank.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So actually, Indrajit Valitharage does not mute his microphone. That's why we can't hear properly. Could you please ask
Who
him
is
to?
the person?
Indrajit Valitharage, I guess.
Sorry, sir.
Can you?
Right, fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please mute all your mics, otherwise it will be a disturbance to everybody. Right. Now, like the earlier one, importer will come and request the issuing bank to open a LC for US dollars 100,000. So this guy will open a LC for US dollars 100,000. Now this first advising bank, they will advise the LC to the first beneficiary, that is US dollars 100,000. US dollars 100,000. Right? Then that's it. There's no wording for transferable. So therefore, he can't transfer the LC anymore. But he will come to his bank, his first advising bank, if he think that that is his bank, he will come to the bank and request his bank, look, I'm having a confirmed order to supply some material. But to manufacture this particular one, I need to buy, but I'm not manufacturing. I want another LC to be open based on the security of this first LC. I want another LC to be open, not a transferable LC. Completely a new one. To purchase the material or asking them to ship the materials. Right? So this first advising bank, if they are willing to do that, he will get a request for the LC US dollars 8,000. Keeping this particular LC as the collateral. This will be the collateral. Okay. And then they will open LC for US dollars 80,000, and then it will be advised to the second beneficiary. Second beneficiary will send the goods to the importer and give the documents of US dollars 80,000. Documents US dollars 80,000. Then the second advising bank will send the documents to the first advising bank and request for money. This is documents for $80,000. Now the problem is here, not like transferable LCs. This particular one is a completely separate LC. Two LCs. This part, one LC. This part, second LC. This part is first LC and the second part is second LC. Okay. Now, even before these people pay the first advising bank, they have to pay as per the UCP 600 negotiations. So if they have negotiated and request the money, yes, if the documents are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, this bank has to pay. And when they replace the documents, like the invoice and the bill of exchange or the draft, and then when they send it to the issuing bank, if the issuing bank refuses to pay, mature, this guy has to be paid. So in other words, we had to keep this first LC as a collateral or security for the second LC. Right? We call this one master LC. This is master LC, and this we call baby LC. It's a baby. It's a master LC, it's a baby LC. Clear? Right. What do you think about the collateral or the security of this particular LC to do this transaction? Is it a good collateral? Is it a good collateral?
No.
Why? Why? You said no. Then tell me why. කියන්න බෑ. ඔය නෝ කියනවා හිතුවනේ. What are the reason behind your answer? Whether even if you make a small mistake here, and if the issuing bank, the ultimate paying bank, if they refuse to pay, then you will be in a real tight situation. Because if the documents you have received are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, then you have to pay. Simple as that. Right? So because of that, we have to be very careful. And a lot of banks, we are having an eternal fight. The trade finance is having eternal fight with the RMs, the corporate department guys. They come and ask for back-to-back LCs. They come and ask for back-to-back LCs. Most of the people doesn't know the gravity of it, and they just say, why can't we keep that LC as a security and open another LC? For me, the first LC is just a piece of paper, A4 paper. That's it. There's no value, there's no monetary value for the first LC. Am I correct? It's only a piece of paper. You will get the money only if you fulfill the obligations. And that's a questionable thing. Not one question, like from this point to this point, I can keep on putting question marks. It's a big question. Right? So because of that, we should not encourage back-to-back LCs. Here also, very few we have come across, because I of course, I used to explain and advise the RMs what are the pros and cons of this process and why we should avoid these things. Okay? Transferable trade versus back-to-back credits. Transferable credits versus back-to-back credits. Similarities. Both credits involve a middleman as seller. Right? They both involve substitution of documents. When issuing a back-to-back or transferring a credit, terms to be observed is price should come down, expiry date and shipment date might be brought forward, date of presentation of documents might be curtailed, insurance amount of the second DC might be increased to comply with the amount required under the master LC. Any documents which cannot be substituted, for example, certificate of origin, you have to be careful, right? So, substitute kind of very documents same thing on another issue right? Then the differences are the differences. Back-to-back credits involve 2 DCs. Transferable credits involve only 1 DC. Back-to-back credits involve 2 DCs. Master LC, baby LC. They got the transferable credit from beginning to end, only 1 LC. It's getting transferred. Right? Back-to-back credits need not be designated transferable. Transferable credits must be designated as transferable. Clear? Back-to-back credits are issued on the responsibility of the bank. Transferable credits are transferred without any responsibility by the bank. Make up your LC card. They on the responsibility of the bank. Right? Usually 600 governs both back-to-back and transferable credits, but transferable credits issued must be specifically comply with Article 38. Back-to-back credits allow certain flexibility in documentary requirements. Transferable credit allow none except as set out in the ICC UCP Article 38G. There is more flexibility because when you are opening the new LC, you can curtail or you can add any amount of additions. You can do that. Then back-to-back customers require a special credit facility, whereas transferable credits do not. Obviously, transferable credit, we are just transferring. Once we get the money from the issuing bank, then only we will pay. A condition here, right? Make a money because this is not a good collateral. Always you have to have separate facilities, separate credit facilities, right? Now tell me why, because of transferable LCs, it's governed by UCP Article 38. Why here we don't have any sub-articles like that, back to back? Why we are not having any sub-articles? Why is that?
They both in a separate
Pardon?
LCs. They
Two
separately.
Two separate LCs, that is obviously governed by UCP 600. First one as well as second one. Since there are two LCs, we don't want to have special clauses or sub-articles. Clear? Your answer is correct because of two LCs. Right? Okay. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? No. If you don't have any question, then I'll ask you questions. Right? Okay. Answer the first one. Can you do all four questions? Finish? First question finish? There is a type of LC that allows an exporter to claim payment before it has dispatched the goods. What is it? What's the answer? What's the answer? Children, can you hear me? I don't want any answers. Please tell me whether you can hear me. Another. Hello? Hello? Can you hear
We
me?
can hear.
Yes,
We can
yes, we
hear.
can.
So then why can't you speak up? Please. You are wasting time. Right? What is the answer for the first one? A, B, C, or D?
B.
Answer is
B.
B. Red clause. Red clause TC is the answer. That is the only LC that allows advance payment. Right? In a transferable letter of credit, there can be more than one beneficiary. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. There is more than one issuing bank involved.
No.
No. Since they have one LC, there's always one issuing bank. C. All the beneficiaries make separate presentation of documents. All the beneficiaries make separate presentation of documents. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Then number 3. Which of the following statement is incorrect? Okay. Now the Incoterms 2020, I think I have started the session by talking about Incoterms 2020, and this was this is the latest version of Incoterms. Earlier it was Incoterm 2010, and it came into effect from year 2010, and now it is 2020. Before that, it was Incoterms 2000. So that shows Incoterms 1990, Incoterms 2000, Incoterms 2010, Incoterms 2020. That means every 10 years, Incoterms are getting changed, right? So why we need Incoterms? Why we need Incoterms, right? Is in the international trade operations, there are certain guidelines to monitor the operations of collections, operations of LCs. We have certain guidelines issued by ICC. What are the guidelines to monitor the collection operations? What are the guidelines to UCP? URC double two, right? Then what are the guidelines to monitor the LC transactions?
UCP 600.
UCP 600. Right. Okay. Now, UCP 600 and URC 522, both they govern the transactions under collection and LCs. But having all those things in place, UCP was first introduced in 1933. UCP was first introduced in 1933. And since 1933, still people have noted there are commercial disputes between the parties, buyer and the seller, commercial disputes regarding who should make arrangements for the carriage, who should be responsible for the insurance, who should be responsible for outward clearing, who should be responsible for unloading, who should be responsible for loading of the goods to the carrier. Various issues were there, right? So even from 1933, those issues were happening. So because of that, in 1936, the international ICC, International Chamber of Commerce, National Chamber of Commerce, has introduced international commercial terms to monitor the various contracts between the exporter and the importer. Right? That is apart from UCP and URC. Right. Now, as you know, the most important document before we start international trade operation or domestic trade operation is, what is that? What is the most important document? The initial document in international trade.
Sales contract. Sales contract. Sales contract.
Contract of sale. Contract of sale. Contract of sale is the most important document before we start any operations. Right? In the contract of sale, if you go through the contract of sale between importer and the exporter, they used to mention contract of carriage. That is, services of a carrier to perform the carriage of goods from exporter to importer. Right? Who should do that particular one? Right? Then the export and import clearing. Who should attend and bear the cost? Contract of insurance. Because insurance is an inherent risk in international trade operations. Goods have to be transferred from one place to another place. One place to another place. So in between, there can happen. There are so many things can happen. The risk. What are some risks? Risk of losing the cargo, damaging the cargo, piracy, anything can happen. So we have to get insurance coverage. And who is responsible of obtaining the insurance cover? Another issue. Then comes the documents. The importer and exporter would have to agree as to who undertakes the preparation of or obtaining of certain documents. In international trade, to get the thing cleared, even when you open a LC, we put so many clauses, so many conditions, and ask for so many documents. Then the problem comes, who should attend to these things? Certain documents, who should attend to these things? Carriage, who should issue? And how to get that one? Then insurance, inspection, certificate of origin, all those things we have to obtain documents. Those documents are, then those documents are one of the requirements under the contract of sale. Then the payment. What method of payment agreed by the importer and exporter? What method of payment? Whether it's an advance payment they want, open account, collection, or LC. So that also they will check. Right? Now, the law governing contracts. The law governing contracts. I think this typographical error. SAS some contracts are governed, at least in part, by the laws of the country. Some contracts are governed, at least in part, by the laws of the country in which one of the parties involved is located. Now, it's another important thing. The contract of sale, if you say two parties involved, one party is from Sri Lanka, other party is from UK. Two parties. So between these two parties, we have the sales contract. Now this sales contract, we have a Sri Lankan law, the UK law. Right? So this particular contract of sale, under which law it governs? Under which law? Is it Sri Lanka or UK? Which one? Either buyer or seller? Which one? What is your guess?
Depending on the one specified on the contract.
Very good. Very good. Very good. What's your name?
Jerome Mahesh.
From?
Jerome.
Jerome
I'm
from?
not from a bank.
Huh?
I'm not from a bank. I'm from an exporting company.
Yeah, from an exporting company.
Yes.
Why did you join a bank? Because you are very much better than these so-called bankers, dumb people. No, Jerome? You must have listened to these things, no?
Yes.
Very sad. Being a banker for 45 years, I'm ashamed that I'm teaching this type of dumb people. Right? Okay. මගේ බේරෙන්දන් හම්බෙන්නේ මෙතනින් එහාට සර්ව වරද්ද ගත්තා. I don't mind you complaining to anybody. Yes. Nobody is going to teach you like me, but yeah, now you have created an enemy. උගලන්ටම තමයි හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ වෙලාවේ ඉඳන් මම අහන හැම ප්‍රශ්නකට උත්තර දෙනවා නම් if you are going to be with me, we can be back to normal. Right? Okay. Now, in the contract of sale, you have to mention under which law it governs. Right? The seller and buyer may themselves agree which law is to apply and include it in the contract. If there is no provision, then in the event of a dispute, judge or arbitrator may first have to determine the governing law. If they have not mentioned, if they are missed to mention that one, then if there's a dispute, judge or arbitrator may first have to determine the governing law. Right? ඊට පස්සේ තමයි මේකේ නඩුව අරන් යන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. Then we'll see what are Incoterms. Incoterms stand for International Commercial Terms. International Commercial Terms and are rules for the interpretation of terms of delivery and not of other terms of the contract of sale. Now this is very, very important today's lecture because since Incoterms have been changed from 2010 to 2020, you all must be, I think, I don't know whether you are having the new Incoterms 2020, but you all should know about the changes and the new changes, especially the new changes and the applicability in the international trade operations. Okay, so Incoterms is a shortened form for international commercial terms, Incoterms, right? And are rules for the interpretation of terms of delivery and not of other terms of the contract of sale, only the terms of delivery. A set of 11 trade terms used in contract for sale and purchase of goods. Okay, and Incoterms are not a law. It's only a guidance. It's not a law, right? And it describes obligations, risk and cost. It describes obligations, risk and cost. Now, since we are having these new Incoterms, right? I think before we started the session, I think as we started the sessions, the first two sessions, we gave you a rules book. Have you got that? Rules book එක අවගණනාව තියෙනවද?
Yes.
නැද්ද? එහෙම නැත්නම් මම ඔයගලන්ට දුන්නා UCP 600 එක දුන්නා and UCP sorry URC 522 දුන්නා. Have you got that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Both you got. Not the Incoterms 2020. Incoterms 2020 I can't give you because I would have done that if we had classroom sessions. Because there are copyright reserve law is there. And Incoterms 2020, the booklet is about 9,000 rupees. Small booklet, that is about 9,000 rupees. Right? But the entire thing, I recently came across in the internet. Just put Incoterms 2020, right? There are so many web pages and all those things. And one of the pages, they gave entire UCP Incoterms 2020, running into 196 pages. 196 pages make it up to upload karaganda bag. Number one. The second thing is, I don't want to do it. I'll be taking a risk of this copyright law, violating the copyright law, right? දෙකින්ද මට මේක අප්ලෝඩ් කරන්න බෑ අර මං ගිය පාර එකේ දීලා තිබුණා අපි දීලා තිනා 2010 එක print කරලා දෙනවා ඒ එච්චරයි ඒ කාටවත් කියන්න බෑනේ ෆොටෝකෝපි එකක් හරි දෙන්න පුළුවන් මට දැන් මේක එහෙම බෑ මට දාන්න දැම්මොත් එහෙම මාව ගස් යනවා IBSL එකට තමයි අමාරු ලෙඩක් වෙටි පස්සේ because of that you can, in fact I have done that, even you can go to the internet Incoterms 2020, you can download the entire 196 pages. Either you can save it in your desktop and refer it then and there, or you can get a printout, whatever you feel like, right? A part එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරගන්න. මට මේ virtual class එක upload කරන්න එක බෑ. And it describes the obligations, the risk and the cost. Then what do Incoterms cover? Then another thing is we talk about the formal creation of two classes of Incoterms, right? One is deliveries by any mode or modes of transport, sea, road, air, rail, multimodal. I have discussed these things, and it is necessary to specify place of delivery or destination. It is necessary to specify place of delivery or destination. Is it clear? Because extra FCA, CPT, none of the things are getting involved in exclusively sea transport. So we can't say port. Place of delivery or destination. The second one is the deliveries by sea and inland waterways, FAS, FOB, CFR and CIF. It is necessary to specify port of shipment. Port of shipment. There you are. The previous one is a place of delivery. Here we say port of shipment because these are deliveries by sea and inland waterways, port of shipment or destination, right? Then major changes in Incoterms 2020. Earlier in 2010, we had 11 Incoterms, and we had one Incoterm called delivered at terminal, DAT, delivered at terminal. Terminal එකට ගිහිල්ලා බාර දෙනවා. එච්චරයි. Delivered at terminal. That particular Incoterm was omitted. Now it's no more in Incoterms 2020. No DAT. Instead of that, they have introduced DPU, delivered to door and unloaded. What's that? Unloaded, right? Then the BL issued on board for FCA transactions. What is FCA? Free carrier. Free carrier is mainly for containerized cargo. FCA is mainly for containerized cargo. If it is containerized cargo, then you won't get the BL. That was the people who are in the import-export business, they know that. Jerem, are you there? Jerem?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, right. So in your business, you know that most of the FCA ones are containerized cargo.
Yes.
Right. When it comes to containerized cargo, normally we don't ask for bill of lading.
Yeah.
Right? Because bill of lading is not issued to the seller. Right?
Yeah, correct.
But under new Incoterms 2020, there is a clause, they have changed it. If the bank requires the BL, then they can ask the seller to provide them a BL. Right? Because you can be loaded to the containers on day one, and after the third day or fourth day, it will be shipped. So once it's shipped, you will get the BL. Once it's shipped, you will get the BL. So you can ask the freight forwarder to submit you the BL. Right? ඉස්සර අපි ඉල්ලුවේ නැහැ. Then some other banks they issue එකකට ගිහිල්ලා, because of that they have introduced that also into the changes. Different levels of insurance coverage for CIF and CIP terms. Another big change, a significant change. Different levels of insurance coverage for CIF and CIP terms. CIF and CIP both are very much similar in operations. What is happening is very much similar. Right? Both are cost insurance. And carriage also arranged by the seller. Only difference is CIF is for sea and inland waterways. CIP is for any mode of transport. Right? But the different levels of insurance coverage is all this time under 2010. When you request for the insurance cover, it can be Institute Cargo Clause A, or Institute Cargo Clause B, or Institute Cargo Clause C. A, B, C. Institute Cargo Clause A is all risk covered. All risk covered. Cargo Clause A means all risk covered. B they have covered certain risk. C is the minimum risk. C is the minimum risk. Minimum risk covered. Third party insurance. Okay. Third party insurance again. Third party insurance පාර දුවන්න පුළුවන්ද? Third party insurance පාර දුවන්න පුළුවන්ද?
Pull up.
Huh?
Yes, can.
Huh? Third party insurance you can. But with third party insurance, can you go to Jaffna?
Yes.
Yes. වචන දාලා ඇහුවේ ඒක කොහොමද කියලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද හිතන්නේ කියලා. Right? Even third party insurance, you can go to Jaffna or Trinco, whatever, wherever. Right? But if you come across with an accident or something, then they will not pay you. They will pay only the third party. That's it. But you can drive. Right? B is in between. In all this time, in Incoterms, we can obtain the minimum cover class C, and do the transportation covered with cover class C, minimum cover. But in the new changes under Incoterms 2020, the new changes, this is if it is CIP, it's a must to have cargo class A, right? Unless otherwise they have mentioned sales contract kelimma කියලා තියෙනවා නම් unless otherwise they can do it, right? ඒ කියනවා නම් cargo class A is enough කියලා, say according to the sales contract they will do, right? But in CIF the requirement is at least minimum car class C cover should be there. Earlier, මේ දෙකට තිබුණේ car class C තමයි minimum තිබුණේ. දැන් මේකේ minimum එකක් නැහැ. CIP නම් all risk covered යන්න ඕනේ. Then transport in own vehicles, that also they have included this time. Then transport safety and inclusion of explanatory notes for users. That also a new one. This time in Incoterms 2020, when you upload the Incoterms under 97 or under each category, they have given explanatory notes for users. That's good, right? More user friendly. Now this we say steps of global logistics. Steps of global logistics. Here you can see number one, can somebody tell me what is it? Number one.
Packing the goods.
Packing the goods. Packing kila dala tiyena. Before packing, the
Manufacturing.
factory is there. We manufacture the goods and do the export packing. Manufacture the goods and do the export packing, right? And then number two is loading. Loading and the initial transportation up to the customs and port, up to the port, right? There you get three types of transportation events. One is pre-carriage. Pre-carriage. Then the main carriage. Then the on carriage. Pre-carriage, main carriage, and on carriage. What do you mean by pre-carriage, main carriage, and on carriage? Pre-carriage is you have the factory or the warehouse, exporter, seller, seller's warehouse, and then you get the port, right? Then we get another port, importer's port, importer's country, right? Then their warehouse. Now here, from the seller's warehouse up to the port, we say pre-carriage. Pre-carriage. Then this is the main carriage, ship, right? Is a ship or something, right? Main carriage. Then after unloading, then we'll have to take it to the warehouse of the importer. This is on carriage. Is it clear? What is pre-carriage, what is main carriage, and what is on carriage? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Now, after manufacturing the goods, we do the export packing, and then we load it to the local transportation and the preliminary transportations up to the port. And when you go to the port, you have to go through customs clearance for exports, right? Custom clearance for exports, and then handling outbound. And here you have to ensure that at this point, at least by this point, you have taken necessary insurance coverage. Number 6, right? And then either by sea or by aircraft or whatever, whatever the main international transportation means, then go to the importer's country. Then the handling inbound, right? Then again, you have to go through the import customs clearance. Yeah. And then the final transportation to the warehouse of the buyer, and then unloading. Right? That's the normal steps of global logistics. Right? Is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
So outbound and inbound, can you explain a bit?
Outbound and handling outbound means, because after clearance, then you have to handle you have to book for a carriage you have to get the insurance, right? You have to either you have to do the shipment or you have to get it through a freight forwarder or some anything outbound from your country, exporter's country, is going out. And then once it comes to the importer's country, then handling inbound. Those cargo will be inbound cargo. Earlier it was outbound cargo, our exports. Here the imports, inbound. Okay? And how we are going to handle the inbound cargo is the custom clearance, paying taxes, duties, then again unloading. All those things are handling inbound cargo. Loading is also our outbound cargo. Loading. Unloading is inbound cargo. Correct?
Okay.
Was that question?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right. Now, there are three types of Incoterms. Make a printer. I don't know if you don't have right. There are three types of Incoterms. Three types of Incoterms. One is F terms. F. One is F terms, starting with F. What are they? Make it diagram, make a print. Print it on there. And then I'm pain here again. Uganda pay on the three types of Incoterms killer. Isn't it F terms killer everything on there?
Yes.
Magi can and
Yes.
right. Make a F terms. FCA, then FA is free alongside ship, and FOB. We call it F terms. Then comes the C terms. What are the C terms? CFR, CIF, CIP, CPT. CFR, CIF, CIP, CPT. Then comes D terms. D terms. DAP, DPU, and DDP. DDP. Samar lamai DAP, DPU, DDP ඔලියනගමන් DDT කියලා ලියපු ළමයිනුත් ඉන්නවා. ඊයේ පරණ DAT කින්ද DDT කියලා ලුවක් දන්නේ නැහැ. හරියට සමහර ළමයි DDT කියන්නේ මధుරන්ට ගහන ඒවා. ඉන්කොටම් නෙමෙයි DDT කියන්නේ අර ගෑනලා ගෙවල් වල ඩෙන්ගු කාලේ ගහන්නේ. ස්මෝක් එක වගේ ගහන්නේ. ඒ DDT. right? DDT කියලා එක්සෑම් එකට ලියන්න එපා. දැන් මේකේ මම කලර්ස් දාලා තියෙනවා. red color තියෙන්නේ any mode of transport. The blue color sea and inland waterways. Right? මේකේ එකක් තියෙනවා අපි දැනගන්න ඕන එකක් තමයි this place in the Incoterm. It's very important. Place in the Incoterm is very important. Always there are given Incoterms. By heart, you have to learn this. By heart. අටපාඩුවෙන් තියෙනවා place in the Incoterms. The easiest way to keep it in your head is very easy. Right? All the F terms and X verb. All the F terms and X verb are origin. All the other terms are destination. All the other terms are destination. All the F terms and X verb are origin. X verb කොහොමද origin වෙන්නේ මේ පැන්? X verb කියන්නේ customer ගේ warehouse එකෙන්. X verb. එතකොට ඒකේ origin එක වෙන්න ඕන. And all the F terms, FCA, FAS, FOB. ඒවා ඇවිල්ලා origin එක දෙන්නේ. Origin එක කියන්නේ seller ද buyer ද? Origin එක කියන්නේ seller buyer ද? Seller. Right? එතකොට මම මෙහෙම example එකක් වතෙම. There is a sales contract between Sri Lanka and UK. Sri Lanka and UK. මම දන්නේ කවුද buyer කවුද seller කියලා මම දන්නේ. I don't know. Right? I don't know. කවුද buyer කවුද seller කියලා මම දන්නේ. Incoterm is X verb, EXW. Incoterm, EXW. Now tell me, who is the buyer, who is the seller? Now tell me, who is the buyer, who is the seller? In other words, buyer in which country and seller in which country? නම් දෙක ඕනේ මට countries දෙකවත් ඇති. X verb මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ? term එක එන්නේ. මම දැන් ගෙන්නු එක.
Country where manufacturing is going to be the
X verb මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ? Place in the Incoterm. Is it origin or destination?
it's origin.
X verb
It's origin.
is origin. X verb is origin. Right? If X verb කියලා ආවොත් origin නම් who should be the I'm sorry. One put them here. Incoterm is like X verb Colombo. X verb Colombo. Sorry, X verb Colombo. X verb Colombo නම් දැන් කියන්නේ කවුද seller කවුද buyer?
Seller
Seller
Sri
in
Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Buyer
Seller is in Sri Lanka.
Seller is in Sri Lanka,
by
UK.
buyer in UK. Right? Why? Because
Goods available in Sri Lanka.
Colombo is the origin. Colombo is the origin. Right? Then if I say Incoterm FCA UK. FCA UK. Who is the buyer? Who is the seller?
Buyer Sri Lanka. Seller UK.
Seller?
Seller UK.
Sela UK. Incoterm CIP Colombo. CIP Colombo.
Buyer Sri Lanka.
By Sri
Sela
Lanka.
UK.
Eh?
By Sri Lanka.
UK. By CIP Colombo is destination. Destination is the seller. Sorry, buyer. Destination is the buyer. Right? Then, අපි කිව්වොත් එහෙම CFR UK.
Buyer UK, seller Sri Lanka.
Bias
Buyer,
UK. Bias UK. UK.
buys UK. Seller,
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Now clear? Then you want to make a good number. Making who are going to put on the gun, or the buyer, or the seller. Okay. Okay.
So just want to clarify about F-phase.
Pardon?
But just wanted to clarify about F-phase and FCA. The FCA is a free-on carrier that can understand that you're going to load into the carrier. But
Yeah.
what's the F-phase that free alongside the ship?
Free
That-
alongside the ship.
That means you are going to load your container alongside the ship.
Alongside the ship. I mean, the goods will be bring. If it's a container, always better to use FCA. Okay. If it's a container, always
Free-on carrier.
better to use. The correct
Yes.
term is FCA, free carrier.
Yes.
Okay. FS is you bring the goods up to the ship. Free alongside ship. Free remain again.
It's like on board.
But the goods will be
Okay.
up to that particular point. It is
Yeah.
the responsibility of the seller.
Lo-
And the seller's responsibility will be
Not
one. Sorry, tell me. You want to ask something?
yeah. So is it on board or it's not board?
It is not board.
Is it going to be loaded into the container? It's not board.
It is not board. Only up to the ship. Free
Okay.
alongside ship. Right? It is not
board.
boarded.
Now
Not
F-phase and FOB different.
FOB.
Only up to the ship. Free on
FOB is a different thing. FOB is
different.
beyond board. They will
That
be
means you
loaded.
have
Already loaded, and the goods will be on deck.
on deck. Okay. Thank you, sir. I got the answer. Yeah.
You got
Thank
it,
you.
huh? Okay.
Yes.
Free alongside ship is up to the ship, but not loaded. So loading is the responsibility of whose? We are going to discuss these things, but since you asked this question, loading is the responsibility of buyer or seller.
Buyer.
Loading is the responsibility of the buyer.
Buyer.
Right? Now, all those responsibilities, I have given you another chart, Incoterms 2020 at a glance. You have a chart like this. Right? You have a chart like this, and get a printout, especially in this particular one, get a printout, and then keep it with you when you are studying Incoterms. Entire Incoterm questions can be answered with this piece of paper. මේක ඔළුවට ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඔයාලට සේරම ටික ආන්සර් ගන්න පුළුවන්. අනිත් ඒවා ඔක්කොම වෙන්නේ common sense. If you have little bit of common sense, you can answer the questions. මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියන එක. Right? Now, for example, the question Who asked that question? FAs and FOB?
I'm Shirley, sir. My name is Shirley.
Shirley from?
I'm from Astron Limited. Actually, it's a pharmaceutical
Ah, right, okay. Yeah,
manufacturing company. I'm not in the bank sector.
I really like this because only the guys who are working in banks, you should be shamed. All the non-bankers are asking, I mean, relevant questions, huh? Right. When මේ sheet එකේ තියෙනවා loading on FCA, whose responsibility? It is seller, right? You get a printout of this. It's very easy. And when it comes to a phase, whose responsibility? Buyer. In this particular one, right? So if you have this piece of paper, you will be able to answer the questions, all the questions, right? මේ කියන්නේ ඔක්කොම ඔලුවට ගත්තොත් මේ පොලිය ඇති. All right. Now we'll discuss about the first one, X-work. X-work, right? Now X-work is we have the seller's warehouse. In X-work, the seller's only obligation is to manufacture the goods and to have them in a manufacture the goods and to have them in a what they call this export packing.
Export worthy packaging.
Yeah, export worthy packing. Right? HRI everyone responsibility. All the others will be the buyer. Now in an X-work, this guy prepares and manufactures the goods and he packed it and he keep it in his warehouse. The buyer will come to his warehouse, he inspects the goods and select whatever he wants, right? And then he will pay the money. Once he pay the money, this guy will hand over the goods to the seller. Once he paid the money, he will hand over the goods to the seller, right? So that is the critical point of transfer of risk from seller to buyer will take place at that particular point. Correct?
Shouldn't we assign like a place?
Pardon?
Shouldn't we assign a place?
Can at the seller's place.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I didn't get you.
No, if a place is not defined, what would be the place?
If the place is not defined, what would be the place? Normally, in this particular one, normally we agreed, and it's a standard agreement. It is seller's warehouse. It is seller's warehouse. Otherwise, if it is something else, then there will be some additional risk to the seller. The X-work is X-work. That is either the factory or the warehouse. Nothing else. Okay. The other thing is, now, this is something like if we go to a shop, a supermarket, and buy things. It is something like that, no? We go to the place and we look for the good ones, do the shopping, and then bring it to the cashier and pay the money. Once you pay the money, the ownership will be transferred from the seller to the buyer. And the seller's risk is over at that time. Seller's risk is over that time. Okay? Clear?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, when we open a LC under Xworks terms, is it necessary to put the place or just Xworks is enough?
Xwork is enough.
Enough.
Xwork Colombo, if you say Xwork Colombo, for Incoterms, yes, enough. In the contract, they will specify that's between the buyer and the seller, but it's the exact place.
Right.
Right?
Okay, sir, thanks.
Now, when you go to the shop, and if you, for example, if you say, we have collected, we have picked some eggs, 10, 15 eggs. Make a ganame, maybe lasana containers thing, eggs done, yeah, ganame. Apidu me podicada killer. Kuma eggs together, no, silly bag egg. Silly bag egg dala. Then go garagane, no. One got a cover again, the maker or the right? Ito got a Pathia Balangava, make a Vadina Tower. Lagadaga like Harry Monarika was not with the ticket. I make one in other Agabal and Nini. Then whose responsibility to pay?
Buyer's responsibility.
Huh?
Buyer.
I'm only giving a happy. Only giving a but still it is buyer's responsibility. Right? Even at that music with rolling Gagandagani actually. Tama may risky transfer in a once you take it from the shelves, a shelves of the Matilatini, a shelves link got that passe. Are then it was happy. You pick up a lagana and on. People sankaragana and on. Then Yema Gila Parsankarang Arangilla, pay Karla counter gay. Ilita Villa, Kaigan again then I got a Lisua, Betuna. With the take Aduna. Then Kagan risky.
Still buy.
Still buy. Because then up to Aragana Theory. Seller is not responsible at all. Right? Seller is not responsible at all. Right? Even in that method, appearing our we pay the what do you call this all the charges, cost of compare karla, seller make it cost ka bhi pay karla. And then jatta. After passe, this is the port. Right? This is a port. Now here, from here, we'll have to take the goods up to this place. Take it up again on pre-carriage. Pre-carriage up to the port. Right? And then pre-carriage is whose responsibility?
By
finding a carrier and loading and again unloading, whose responsibility? It's buyer's responsibility. Right? Then before we load to a ship, we'll have to go through at the port, we had to go through a customs clearance. Right? To get the custom clearance, whose responsibility?
Buyer.
It's buyer's responsibility, right? Then we have to look for we have to have a contract for carriage. Whose responsibility? To sign a contract with a carriage?
Buyer.
Buyer. That's buyer's responsibility. Then whose responsibility for loading the goods to the carriage?
Buyer.
That's against buyer. Then we bring the goods up to the importer's port, make a on carriage, and then unloading, import clearance, paying import taxes, right? All buyer's responsibility. Then again loading to a lorry, right? And then take it to their warehouse, and again unloading. All those things that's on carriage is also buyer's responsibility. Clear? Now can you refer to this particular chart?
Yeah. So just I have one question.
Yeah.
This now when we buy something, we'll say when we import something under the X-work condition on LC. Now the seller don't have any transport document. Now in that case, when it's come to the payment, will it be matters now? How are we going to submit the documents according to the LC now without transport documents?
Right. Good question. Can somebody add something to that? Just think about it. Just think about it. Now under X-work,
Something like dividend order or something.
any bank, guys, do you have any experience of opening a LC for X-work? Do you have any experience of opening a LCs for X-work? I think Penny from NTB, you're opening LCs. Penny, are you there? Penny, you're not here today. The Sadhanath there. Bayuna there.
She doesn't seem to.
Huh? Right. Very, very rarely people open LCs for X-work because X-work, the payment has already done. Payment has already done. You don't have to pay because
We'll say, sir. We'll say now. Yeah. We'll say if we agreed on some credit period with the seller.
You agreed on
some credit period. Credit.
All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Answer maybe or your way of thinking, right? Then in a scenario like that, right, if you are not paid, it will be agreed on 90 days payment, right? X-work. Then the transport document. Who will get the transport document?
Now, as a buyer, the transport documents with the importer.
Transport documents are with the importer. But
yes,
do you think even in X-work, in international trade operation, the question I make, right? In international trade operation, everything will be done based on the trust, based on the trust. So every time when you buy a certain thing from Belgium or France or Germany, are you going there every time when it comes to X-work to pay and inspect the thing? No. It is never happen, right? You will not go every time. Every month you are buying on X-work. No, you are not going. So, but instead of that, what you do is you will request the seller to attend to these things which are normally done by you. For example, pre-carriage and custom clearance and finding a carrier and loading the goods to the carrier. For all those things, the seller will do it. Seller will do it at the risk and the cost of the buyer. You got my point?
Yes.
At
Then
the
he's
risk
going to
and
get
the cost of the buyer.
buyer.
If something goes wrong, the seller will not take any responsibility. He will attend to these matters as a what do you call this? Support.
As a help, support.
As a help, as a support, he will do it. Right? When he is asked, but he will specifically mention without any responsibility or risk on his part, he will do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is a common
When he
thing
going to define, yeah, when he going to define his credit term, then he will base on the invoice date or the date that he invoice, is it?
Yeah. In that particular invoice, he will include all those things.
Yeah.
In the commercial invoice, he will insert, he will include all those costs incurred in the invoice. You got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. He will, I mean, every time when you buy X-work, you have to run to that place. No. Right? Whatever the extra cost, they will work වෙලාට දැන් මෙතන එහෙම මම දන්නවා මගේ යාළුවෝ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා එක්ස්වර්ක් කරනවා මෙහෙ චයිනා factories වලින් එක්ස්වර්ක් කරනවා what do you call these people solar panel import කරන කට්ටිය ඒගොල්ලෝ solar panels ගන්නකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඉන්නවා චයිනා වලම ඉන්නවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ agents the agents goes to the factory and they buy X-work and they are either the seller or the agent or sometimes the agent will arrange a pre-carrier, right? Pre-carrier also arranged by the agent but will be paid by the seller. Will be paid by the seller. And seller will include all those things into the invoice. Come invoice kala, මෙයාට දෙනවා. මෙයාට ආදිය කරන්න බෑ එතකොට. Because he will do it without any risk or responsibility and cost to him. He will do it. The risk of the buyer. At the risk of the buyer. Right? Okay. In this particular chart, you can see X-work, place in the Incoterm origin, export clearance buyer, contract for carriage buyer, loading buyer, insurance buyer, unloading buyer, import clearance and taxes buyer, delivery to destination buyer, then commercial invoice, packing, quality control, marking will be done by the seller. Right? කැලෙන් කැල්ල ඔගොල්ලෝ හිතලා බලන්න. In this particular one, just see the chart what I have displayed here. X-work. The seller's primary duty is deliver the goods at the disposal of the buyer at the named place. Named place. So, we have to name the place, right? Then, for example, works, warehouses, factory, etc. Name place means, right? Then the buyer's primary duty is to take delivery of the goods when they have been placed at his disposal, right? And make all arrangements at his own cost and risk to bring the goods to the destination. Bring the goods to the destination. Right? Now here, just see the seller is there. We're going to pay on the image. May slide the pay on there.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the critical point. What is the critical point? Critical point is before the pre-carriage takes place. Right? That's a warehouse. Goods will be there at seller's risk and seller's cost. And then the risk transferred at that particular point from seller to the buyer. Then the pre-carriage is happening. Then comes the export clearance and the main carriage. Right? Then the import clearance and on carriage to the buyer. Right? Critical points. Carriage to be arranged by the buyer. Right? The risk is transferred to the buyer when the goods are placed at his disposal. After do the payment, the goods will be goods are placed at his disposal. Number 3, the cost transferred from the seller to the buyer when the goods are at the disposal of the buyer. Goods at seller's risk, seller's cost will be transferred. The critical point is once they pay from that particular point, before the pre-shipment takes place, it will be, or at least at that particular point, the risk will be transferred. Right? තවත් මං chart එකක් දාලා තිබ්බා මේ පාර මේ අලුත් එක Incoterms 2020 එකේ. It will be any mode, right? The transfer of risk here, transfer of risk is here. At the warehouse. At the warehouse, once they pay. Then it will be loaded to a truck or a lorry and it will be loaded to the first carrier. Again, unloaded and it will be loaded to the first carrier. Then the first carrier will take the goods, maybe any mode of transport, right? Then තවත් ඒකට දානවා දාලා ඊළඟට unload කළා do the custom clearance and all those things, and then again they loaded the goods to another carrier and take it to the buyer's warehouse, right? The place of delivery එන්නේ export එකේදී හරියටම transfer එක risk එක transfer වෙන්නේ seller warehouse again. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? Sorry, පුතේ. පුතේ මට ඇහුන්නේ නැහැ.
දැන් ෆැක්ටරි එකට ගිහිල්ලා පේමන්ට් එක කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් LC එකක් මොකටද කියලා හිතනවා නේද?
ඇත්තටම ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි ඉතින් මම කවුද එක්කෙනෙක් ඔගොල්ලෝමනේ කිව්වේ LC එක අරින්න ඕනේ කියලා. මට නම් ඕනේ නැහැ, මම නම් අරින්නේ නැහැ. right? LC එක අරනවා කියන තවත් මේව වෙනවා. අර මේ එකක් තියෙනවා. ඉස්සරක පුතා කිව්වේ question එක වෙන එකක්. Payment will be done as a deferred payment.
Okay.
එතකොට there should be some cover for the seller.
Yeah. Yes.
Then he will say, no, I need a security. So what's the security? You can give them. The best security is LC, ne? Am I
Okay.
correct? Right.
Yes.
එහෙම නැත්නම් එහෙම කරනවා නම් LC කරනවා අපරාධයක්. අපිට ගොඩක් ඒවා මේ ඇඩ්වාන්ස් පේමන්ට් හරි ඒ වගේ දෙකකින් ඉවරක් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
හැබැයි බැංකර්ස්ලා ඒක කියන එක වැරදිනේ. ඒක ඉන්කම් එක බැංකර්ස්ලා එහෙම කිව්වොත් බැංකුවට ඉන්කම් එක එන්නේ නැහැ.
බැංකුව ගැන ඉන්කම් එකට බිස්නස් කරනවට හොඳ නැහැ. මම ඒකට විරුද්ධයි. දැන් අපි මම ටික රැඩිකල් මිනිස්සෙක්. අපි කස්ටමර්ට කියනවනේ කස්ටමර්ට හොඳ දේ. හොඳ ක්වෙස්චන් එකක් මේකල දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ට්‍රේඩ් එකේ ඉන්න කට්ටිය හින්දා. Don't think about the commission you are going to miss. But might as well try to keep that customer in your good books. He will give you double, triple. And the word of mouth will goes out. He will say, you go to this particular bank, they will help you. They will not trying to milk you, right? They always give you the correct answer, correct solution, and it will be cost effective. ඊට පස්සේ I think කොහොමද අර මිනිහව සුද්ධ කරන්න කියලා තමුන් දැනගන්න ඕන. පොඩ ලස්සනට ඉස්ලා අපේ පැත්තට අරගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. ඒ වගේ තමයි හැමතිස්සෙම මගේ තියෙන method එක, that's how I am getting the customers. When we give the correct advice and tell them don't pay the bank, right? Why do you want to make us rich? Might as well you better become rich, right? Don't pay us. Or he will tell another at least 5-10 people, go to that particular bank. මට නිකම්ම අර අඩු වෙන රුපියල් 3-4,000ක් නේ ඔක වෙන්නේ. 10,000 12,000ක් වෙයි. එක ඩීල් එකෙන් හොයන්න පුළුවන්. right? අනේ ඒ විදිහට හිතන්න හැමතිස්සෙම. බැංක් එකේ ඉන්කම් එක ගැන ගොඩාක් හිතන්න යන්න එපා. Try to help the customer. He will be there. And he will, without your knowledge, he will increase our profitability. Right. Extract the seller's obligations. Seller makes the goods available for collection from warehouse. Then at the agreed point or named place of delivery. Once the buyer collects the goods, seller's responsibility is at an end. Here, when the buyer collects the goods, seller's responsibility is at an end. The seller must, at his own expenses, provide other documents which are necessary for the delivery of the goods. Right? Seller must, at his own expenses, provide other documents which are necessary for the delivery of the goods. කවුද මගෙන් ඉස්සලා questions ආව පුතාලා දෙන්නෙක් හිටියා. මීට කිට්ටු දේවල් නේද ඇහුවේ ඒකට. answer කරන්න බලන්න. right? දෙන්නෙක් ඇහුවා කිට්ටුවට. They are all cost until delivery. With the buyer's responsibilities, pay for the goods as per the sale contract. Pay for the goods as per the sales contract. They are all cost and risk involved in shipment transaction. arrange to obtain all licenses, authorizations as may be needed, right? And contract carriage and insurance. Contract carriage and insurance. So, whose responsibility is to organize the carriage? Buyer or seller?
Buyer.
Bias.
The insurance?
Buyer.
But
Insurance, buyer. Right? And see examples. Buying fruits in Costa Rica. Apicina, expert, Fincala Fortuna, Heredia, Costa Rica. Incoterms 2020. Expert, Fincala Fortuna, Heredia, Costa Rica. This is how it comes. Right? Buying fruits in Costa Rica. Then, where the buyer, seller in Costa Rica. Okay? Seller is in Costa Rica. Again, expert and origin again, origin Costa Rica. Buying goods at free trade zone. Expert Shanghai Free Trade Zone. Sony Warehouse, China. Incoterms 2020. It's very important to mention Incoterms 2020. Kila ai api daanne. Ai api daanne.
2010 එකත් වැලිඩ් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඉන්න
2010 එකත් valid වෙන්න පුළුවන් නෙවෙයි valid. 2010 is not obsolete. It is still valid. Your answer is correct. When the පුළුවන් what නෙමෙයි. It is valid. So if anybody wants to go by 2010, yes, you can. So I think buyer and the seller both should agree.
so the LC එකේ year එක දාන්න බැරි වුණොත් ඒකේ මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් આવොත් බැංක් එකේ පැත්තට එනවද ඒක
එනවා.
okay sir.
You are from which bank?
සම්පත්
Bank එකේ පැත්තට එනවා පුතේ. මේක ඇයි bank එකේ පැත්තට එන්නේ?
we are doing the mistake no
තව මොකක්ද ඉන්නේ? ඔයගොල්ලෝ හොඳ questions ඔන්න ඔයගේ කතා කරනවා නම් මට මම ආසාවෙන් උගන්වනවා මට මේ අයිතිදී මම අර කතාවට මම බයින්නම එනවා නේද මම ආස ඔන්න ඔයගේ කතා කරනවා නම් මේ ක්ලාස් එක DIT ක්ලාස් එක I'm going to suggest would you like to come for the physical classes?
yes
Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
It's much
Yes,
better.
yes,
But I think I must ask the management because at least a DIT, I need people. Well, but I want to teach whatever I know to you guys before I die. Now, මට දැන් වයසට ගිහිල්ලා තින්නේ. මේක ඔයගලන්ට දෙන්න මේක මෙහෙම ගන්නන්න බෑ මට.
sir government has
රණ්ඩු වෙවි යන්න. අන්න එහෙම ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. මාත් එක්ක ෆයිට් කරන්න ඕන, මාත් එක්ක රන් වෙන්න ඕන, මාත් එක්ක ආගියු කරන්න ඕන. Then only you will learn. My way of teaching. අපුතේ
government has given a date to conduct tuition classes below 100 something
අපේ 17 ඉන්නේ. We can
Oh,
easily do it. We can easily do it. Now how many people are
We
here?
have space also. We have enough space also in the classes. We have enough spaces or space also
Yeah,
in the
we have
class.
enough spaces. The 1 meter distance තියලාම දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Oh.
මට මේ එකක් කරගන්න දෙන්න වාඩි කරවන්න පුළුවන් මට. දැන් මම මේ ක්ලාස් එක කරන එකේ මේ කම්මැලි එකයි මට මේ I can see vast area.
අපිටත් ඒකයි ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න බැරි
ඒක අපිට ඕන මොකද මේ රණ්ඩු වෙවි යන්න ඕන මේක. මේ එන questions මේක තමයි DIT the main objective of DIT to make the cream. ඒක අපිට එන්න ඕන වඳ කර. ක්ලාස් එකේදී වුණා නම් මම ඕගොල්ලෝ එහාට මෙහාට මඩවල අහලා මූණ ගාවට ගිහිල්ලා ළඟින් ඉඳලා අහනවනේ අපි. right? ඕකේ අපි බලමුකෝ මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියලා. දැන් මේකේ මොකද කියන්නේ? In terms 2010 එක valid, and if you keep silent, it's not good for a good bank. It's not a prudent bank. Bankers practice එකක් නෙමෙයි. The customers are always making mistakes, but it is why we are charging them. We are not doing a free job. We are charging them. So if we are charging them, this is our duty to give them the correct advice, right? And some people still they go for 2010. Never mind, right? මගේ නම් ලොකු ඉෂුව එකක් නැහැ. මොකද හේතුව මේකේ 2020 එකේ the Incoterms 2020 what's the main change? What is the main change? අපි දැන් කරන්නේ
BL on board for FCA. BL on board for FCA.
නෑ ඒක පුතේ if they like it කියලා දෙනවා.
Okay.
ඒක ලොකුම change එක
DPU term එක add වෙච්ච එක.
DAT was omitted and DPU added. ඒකනේ ලොකුම change එක. Delivered at place, unloaded. ලංකාවත් එක්ක business කරද්දී DPU දාලා මේකක් ගහනවද අපි? නෑනේ. DPU එන්නේ වැඩිහරක් එන්නේ cross border transactions. Cross border transactions මේ trucks වල බඩු යනවා ඒ ළඟ තියෙන රටවල වලට. ඒවා තමයි cross border ගිහිල්ලා.
In some cases, sir, courier packages they mention that DDP.
Courier packages වල වෙනවා. Courier packages වෙනවා. Right? ඒ අරෙන්න නම් මේ ගොඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් අපිට මේක DPU දාන්න නැත්නම් අපි 2010 කියලා දාලා ගියාට ඉෂුව එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි you have to mention what is the Incoterms. මම මේ especially our blue එකෙන් දැම්මේ එකයි Incoterms 2020 or Incoterms 2010. You have to mention that. Right? මට හම්බෙලා තියෙනවා Incoterms 2010 was introduced in 2011. Incoterms 2010 was introduced in 2011 January. What 15 again? 2015 I have come across people were referring to Incoterms 2000. Understand that? Okay. Any more questions? I don't think we have time. We have time to go for the next one. Oh, Karandas put on.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Now in Xworks, when we prepare the keep the goods ready at seller's disposal, that will be the critical point. But if we don't notify the party, like if we notify them and they don't take it, or rather we don't notify it, does notice play a vital role in the passing of the responsibility between the parties?
Can I repeat the question to you?
Yeah.
I will repeat this what I understood from you. Right?
Right. No,
transaction will be done.
Transaction will be done now regarding
2020.
20, yes.
Right. Now the buyer will, now the seller will announce that these are the goods I'm ready to sell.
Yes.
Then the buyer will come and pay and collect the goods. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Then what's the question you asked?
Like, what does notice? I just read on the booklet that notice has a vital role in the passing of the responsibility. Like, how does it happen? Because in my understanding, once the goods are ready, whether notified or not, like, for example, let's say the goods are kept in the place as agreed between the parties, like in the warehouse or a designated place, but the seller does not notify the buyer. So, by any chance, if there's pilferage or any damage to the goods, who will be responsible? Because the seller has fulfilled his duties by bringing the goods to the particular place. But he has not notified the seller of the readiness.
He has not notified the buyer.
Yes, sorry, notify the buyer of the readiness of the goods.
Yeah, he has
but eventually, if something happens,
yeah, he has not notified the buyer of the readiness of the goods.
But he has brought the goods to the place they agreed before.
Agreed. Have the buyer paid for it?
Yes.
They already paid for it.
No, let's say they are in the free trade zone and they have a place just close by, designated. So they agree between the seller agrees to bring the goods to that particular place. So he brings the goods there, but he does not notify the seller to pick up the goods. Seller does not know. Maybe he knows it by the next day. By the next day, he comes to pick the goods. The buyer, according to the term, he has fulfilled by bringing the goods, but he comes one day later, so the goods are damaged. So who will be responsible? Because he has not notified.
But in your question, I don't know whether you have missed it or you have mixed up the thing. The notification has to be given to the buyer by the seller, no?
Sorry?
The notification of the goods are ready to be collected. That notification should be given by the seller to the buyer, no?
Seller, yes, from the seller to the buyer.
Seller to the buyer, but you said
seller to the buyer.
Seller to the buyer.
So let's say seller to the buyer. Let's say the pickup point, the pickup location is not the warehouse. They have a separate
not the
place
warehouse,
outside
okay.
the warehouse.
Fine.
Not the warehouse.
Fine.
Seller brings the goods to the place they agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, seller brings the goods, but he does not notify the buyer.
He does not notify the buyer. Yeah, he does not notify the buyer. The notification part is a vital thing in next work.
Yes, that's what I just want to clarify.
Yeah, notification part is a vital thing in X work. So when there's an agreement between the buyer and the seller that the goods will be, earlier another girl also asked the same question, a similar question, whether is it the exactly that's a warehouse. No, it can be another place also, but it has to be agreed between the buyer and the seller, and that will be the place where the risk is transferring. The risk transferred from the seller to the buyer. Only at that particular point, not the warehouse. It may be about a couple of miles away from the warehouse. Right? These things happen in free zones, no?
Yes.
Free trade zones, these things happen. So the notification is a vital part in extract. You have to notify the buyer accordingly, then only, and without any delay, you have to do it.
Sir, I have a different point of view on this matter.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me.
Sir, I have a different point.
What's your name, brother?
Yeah, I have a different point on this matter.
What's your name? Your name? Your name,
We'll
please.
say
Your name.
as a buyer now, you are responsible as a buyer. Yeah, even notify you or not, as a buyer, you are responsible for your.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Surely
I
you
can't hear
continue.
you.
I think. Yeah,
I can't hear you.
mute.
What
Surely.
about the others? Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
him?
can hear. No, we can't.
Um,
Hello.
Surely you have to speak. Yeah, my mic is mute.
Yeah. Initially, his voice was very clear. Hello.
Yes, on that question, I have a different point of view.
Yeah.
Now, as a buyer, now you are responsible for your cargo. So from the point of buyer's warehouse. So before you arrange the deliveries and all that, you supposed to insure your good. In that aspect, you can cover the whatever the losses from your insurance, isn't it?
Good anger. Can I have your name, please?
My name is Shirley, sir. Shirley.
Shirley. You're also from a company, no?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Shirley, in international trade operations, right? When the if you are, if you are moving the goods from the seller's warehouse, even for 1 meter or 2 meters, right? From the warehouse itself, the entire cargo should have been insured, right? It has to be insured. Now, even especially in the pre-carriage part, we don't know what is going to happen from the seller's warehouse to the port during that period. Anything can happen to the carriage or the goods, right? Damage can be done. So likewise, even if you are taking the goods out of your warehouse for a place, if you say 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers away from your warehouse, and it will be closer to the free zone boundary or something, a place, right? From the time you move the goods to that particular point, it is more appropriate to get a sufficient insurance cover. Answer also you mentioned, right? You have to take a sufficient insurance cover or appropriate insurance cover, and then if something happens, obviously it will be covered under insurance. But if you are not doing that, a seller is not doing that, and the risk is going to transfer at that particular point, right? Before the buyer takes over the goods, if something happens, it is the seller's risk. But any prudent guy should aware of the risk and the monetary loss of the risk and take precautionary actions by taking an appropriate cover, insurance. Even you are telling me, you are also telling me the same thing. If they have taken an insurance cover, then we would have cover the loss. Shirley, you are with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, that's what. Now, in terms of extras, we have to be careful now. When we placing order, I think we may need to obtain the insurance cover.
Yeah,
In case
definitely.
of early delivery or some without notification, if we do something, then at least we can cover from the insurance.
Yes, definitely. If
Yeah.
you are moving, if
Yeah.
you are moving the goods, now when you are having the goods inside your warehouse, you are not going to cover insurance. Tell me that.
No, even
No, no,
yeah,
no.
if you having your cargo
When your
as
cargo,
a manufacturer, you need to insure.
yeah, as a manufacturer, you need to insure. Even within your warehouse.
Insure,
All,
yes.
all the warehouses are
Warehouse,
insured.
they have to.
Yeah, all the warehouses are well insured.
Yes.
Right? Do you know the bankers knows about it? As per the Article 10 of URC 522 also we discussed, right? This is one of the requirements. These other banks, the remitting bank is asking the collecting bank, clear the goods and keep it in warehouses with full insurance. And they want us to insure the goods also, right? Which the banks are not agreeable. Article 10 of URC 522. Likewise, all the companies, their warehouses are well insured. Ever insure කරන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි banks වල loans දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. We don't give any facilities. The first thing what we check is if the warehouse is insured. ඒවා වෙනවා. ඒකම තමයි මෙතන මේ carriage එකේ මෙතන transportation part එකකුත් එනවා. නිකම්ම බඩු කියන්න බෑනේ ලොකු බඩු මේ කිලෝමීටර් දෙක තුනක් වුණත් යන්න බෑනේ vehicle එක ගන්න නැතුව free carriage එකක් යනවා. So free carriage part has to be insured. And if something happens, yes. Okay. Any other questions at 5 o'clock? Shall we call it a day?